Hi everyone, I'm back with another active tip. This is active tip number 7. Today we're going to be talking about the ability to record what is on your computer, very similar to what I'm doing right now. Now if you're using the Active Inspire software, you have the ability under your tools to be able to use a screen recorder. In addition to that tool, to be able to capture all your commands, your voice, you also have other products like Jing, which is up here. And if you're using, say, Notebook 10 software, that's the smart software, that too has its own type of screen capturing. What I'm using right now is something called Camtasia. It's more has a couple more bells and whistles than the one that comes with the Active Inspire and stuff like that. But they're all very effective for being able to record. You can have your students record how to do a problem, and then you can post it. Very similar to what I'm doing right here. So what I'm going to try to do today is actually show you how you could use this with your students, how you could perhaps discuss a problem that a lot of people didn't understand. And also for the math teachers, if you want to watch the entire thing, I'm also going to be talking about Geogebra. So I'm going to be showing off the product Geogebra. For this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that students would already understand how to graph a line. They understand y equals mx plus b. They understand slope. They also understand how to write an equation given 2 points. So what I would like to show in this example is a real-life application. Here I have a word problem dealing with weight loss. Now again, I won't do a word problem to show how quickly I gain the weight back, but nonetheless. With this word problem, basically it shows that my weight loss over time resembles a line. So with this information, we'll be able to write an equation based on this information and then use that equation to make predictions. So again, this is an example of being able to put, say, a word problem that students had problems with, or it could be, again, a problem that you want your students to be able to explain, and that you can record their explanation. And what a great way. What a great way to really get your students to understand a concept. So with this word problem, again, I'll give some information. On day 6, I weighed 302. And then 30 days later, I weighed 280. And then that's all the information we really need to be able to write an equation. Okay, given 2 points, you can write a linear equation. And then we're going to answer the question, okay, based on this information, what would I weigh on day 80? Okay. Now from that word problem, I wanted students to be able to really pick out 2 ordered pairs. So our ordered pairs are going to be 6, 302, where 6 is the day, which is really playing the role of the x value or input, and the weight is really the y value. Okay, so I gave 2 pieces of information, therefore we have 2 ordered pairs, and then from here students would be able to find the slope. So this is going to illustrate the setup. So they're going to be able to find the slope, the differences in your outcomes over the differences of your inputs. Okay, so this shows the slope. Once you know the slope, and you know y equals mx plus b, you basically then substitute either order pair. It really doesn't matter which point we use. I just happen to use the 30, 280, and I substitute into our equation where I replaced the w with the 280. I replaced the d, or the x value, with 30, and then here was our slope. We found that our slope was negative 11 over 12. And then once we have this, we just need to solve for b. Once we know b, we really know the y-intercept then. And so we put everything together, and here's our equation. So, that's, again, this is, a word problem, an application. In the past, they had practice on being able to just write an equation just given two regular points. Okay, so again, I think it's real important that really any concept that you're teaching to be able to somehow tie it to something that you can put meaning to, that they can put meaning to. So we have our equation, and once we have our equation, then we can answer our question, which is, okay, based on this equation, based on this model, predict the weight, predict W on day 80. So you just have to calculate that, and we get an answer. This is Geogebra. I'm going to show you some basic features of Geogebra, and we're going to do this exact same problem using this program. Okay? Now, if I want to show the grids, I can go up to View and Grid. So I'll basically have your traditional graph paper. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to this input bar, and I'm going to type in A, colon, and then in parentheses, I'm going to put my ordered pair. My first ordered pair was 6, comma, 302. Okay? Hit enter. Now we don't see point A, and hopefully you understand why. It's because order pair is 6 and then all the way up to 302. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this tool right here. I can now move my paper around, my graph around, and then I'm going to click on the y-axis. With this held in, my left mouse key held in, I can then drag it down and I can change my scale. So what I want to do is I want to have it so that 300 appears. Okay, so like right about there is a good display. And I need to do the same thing with the x-axis. I'm going to left click and I'm going to pull that in, and I want to at least be able to see to 80 because we're going to make a prediction on day 80. So there's a great opportunity to explain the y-axis is the weight, and perhaps you would want your students to label that. Label the y-axis as weight, label the x-axis as days. Okay, so I have a half decent view of this graph. So I'm going to go down to the input bar again, and I'm going to type in B, colon, and I'm going to type in my second point, which is 30, comma, 280. Okay, and point B appears. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to our line tools, and if I pull this down, I have a whole bunch of different ways I can do a segment, but really what we want here is a line through 2 points. I'm going to select that, and then with Geogebra, it's real easy to do this. You just have to click A, and then click point B. And now I have a line that goes through those 2 points, and over here you actually see the equation. Now this is in standard form. If I right-click this equation, I can actually switch to slope-intercept form. Okay, so I have this is my equation of a line. Now notice here, we want to, after we have the equation of the line, we want to actually be able to tell the outcome given an input of 80. So what I'm going to do, a little tip here, I'm going to right-click, and I'm actually going to copy to input bar. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to type in f of x equals. Okay, so now I have this. And again, if I wanted to, you can change the color. I can go down to object properties, and I could change the style of this line. I can change the color, and that's the same thing for all your points. So we'll use this pinkish color. Okay. Now the nice thing about this then, I have this function, f of x, so that I can go down to my input and I can actually basically ask, hey, well, I want the function at 80. So I can write f of 80. And there's my answer. Okay, so students can understand that on day 80, I should weigh 234.17 pounds. Again, that never happened, but there's basic. Okay, and that's using Geogebra, and again, it's a tremendous, very powerful program that's actually available for free. It's a free download. Go to geogebra.org.